everybody, Texas Stroker here, Lance's Performance Shop, Lone Star Mopars.com. Really wish that had not have gotten the screwdriver there. I hate magnetized tips on this one. But it is Mopar Monday. It is hot. It's only going to get hotter through this week. It's cooled off to 91. This time tomorrow it'll probably still be around 100, so I'm trying to maximize my time out here. And we're in the midst of a Harbor Freight spree because they did a cool sale, 25% off Icon if you buy 4 items, and we did that. We picked up the standard SAE stubby wrenches. We picked up another set of ratcheting SAE stubbies that'll be going to work. We picked up this little Icon 24-ounce ball peen dead blow. Seems like a decent hammer. Again, we're going to have to use it before we can pass judgment. And we have our 4th item. Did we save the best for last? Well, I hope so, and you'll see why here in a second. What we have, I believe this thing, again, my phone's on life support. The charger out here is really slow, unfortunately. But I want to say this is like 29, and then the item up is 34, and the item above that's 39. I want to say that's the price tier. So with our 25% off, this is a $30 ratchet. We would be coming in pretty dadgum good. Off the top of my head, what would that be? 30 into 4, half would be 15,750. So we'd be sitting around 22.50. So sub $25 for this thing. I think when you see it, it should be good. I was very much on the fence with this. I've had quite a few of you say this turned out to be your favorite, and you had some pretty impressive brands. And I'm going to go ahead and give it a shot. And what item are we talking about? We're talking about this. This is an Icon quarter drive roto head. They're going to call it a swivel head. I prefer roto. Why am I on the fence about it? Well, this is why I'm on the fence about it. Right here. It's Big Brother, if you will, the middle child. Goldilocks. This is the 3/8. Nice overall length. I picked this up first. I'm pretty sure this was my first Icon ratchet. It's not terrible, but it's not great. It's 90 tooth. It should, in theory, be an upgrade over something like this. This is not Icon. This is not Harbor Freight. It's Tekton. However, if you're like, hey, I have a Harbor Freight just like that in green, yeah, you do. Same manufacturer, same OEM. This is the quarter drive Tekton. We kind of saw this with my half-inch Mac Roto and the Carlisles. Those are 100 tooth even. This is 90. Carlisle and Mac are 100 tooth. This isn't a bad little ratchet, okay? And you can get quarter, 3/8, and half in sets. Harbor Freight, Tekton, go on the Jungle site and pick your choice of colors, and whoever's rebranding it, you can probably find it in your favorite color. Some of them are egregiously expensive, but they're literally all the same ratchet. I want to say the OEM is William Tool over in Taiwan. And these aren't bad. And I say that because they're also a stupid, reasonable price. And that makes everything else roto-wise kind of sketchy. Because, yeah, are they better than this? Sure, I could take the half-inch Tekton. Do I like the Mac handle better? Yeah. Do I like the 100 tooth count better? Yep. Do I think it's a little stronger? Is it going to maybe be able to withstand some more torque? I think so. Are the handles on the Carlisle better? Yep, they sure are. But then you come back to price. Carlisle has gotten just insane the way they price things. I mean, they're almost like a Matco crack pipe or something coming down the line. It's not that egregious, but it's getting close to it. It's really unfortunate because that stuff used to sometimes be buy. You can still, in the real deals, get like a fair price, maybe even a good deal, but they are spendy. If you're curious, that is blood. That's from the previous tool haul. But this little guy here, I've used the half. Yes, I use half-inch rotos and the 3/8 way more than this. This one has seen a decent bit of use. You can see the wear on the anvil. These aren't like groundbreakingly good or anything. It's just, for the price, these are solid, and they set a baseline that kind of has tended to make everything else look bad when you consider how much more expensive it was. And I say that, I've got nothing to gain if you go to Tekton and buy those, if you go to the jungle site and find them in blue or orange, like, it doesn't benefit me any. Does Harbor Freight sell you some Pittsburghs to try out? I don't see a dime. I'm the guy that would love to sit here and tell you, like, oh, what an upgrade, this like, whoa, the Mac blows that out. I can't do it. Like, I would be lying to you. Each one has their advantages, but those little guys there, that same cheap El Cheapo Roto that's like the bottom of the cellar in price point, is a solid little guy. Again, I've used them for quite some time. I haven't had issues. Tons of you can say the same. Pick your brand, probably Pittsburgh. They're not the greatest thing, but for the price, they certainly hold their own. So, why am I worried about the icon here? Well, this is why, okay? If I pop this thing out, and I'm going to go into another small rant in a second, this is not a bad ratchet. You know, it's decent grip and everything. I'd change a few things that come up slightly longer. You'll note this is like, looks like it hasn't been used. I think I've used it twice. If you look at this ratchet action, it kind of skips. Like, once you get going, it's okay, but here at the start, especially on a cold switch, she jumps a little bit, right? It's not like it's skipping teeth and gonna fall apart, but it's just not smooth like you'd think 90 teeth would be when that's a 72 tooth iteration, right? It is quite easy to change the direction on. They do have it indicated left and right, so we would be coming down, and now we're gonna work. You can kind of see the play there before we actually start working. That's a decent swing. Again, I know this is quarter, so it's going to skew things a little for you, but this is just smoother, and it's like that in 3/8, and it's like that in half. This is not me bashing Icon. I'm going to tell you that this Tekton is smoother than the Icon. I'll tell you that this Tekton is smoother than the quarter drive Carlisle, which looks infinitely better because it's the old style. It has the blue quick release button. And I will also tell you that the Carlisle half and the Mac half look better, and I like the handles way better than I do on these. But at the end of the day, when you factor in that price point, that's where things get crazy. So I had some of you tell me, like, hey man, that's not how mine is at all. The 1/4 inch is actually, a lot of you specifically said the 1/4 inch is your favorite Roto. Some of you had Snap-on, some of you had every other brand under the sun. So we took a flyer. I've been wanting to do it, and we took the flyer on it. We're gonna see how it pans out. My other knock before we get going too far, this is all they offer. I don't even know that Tekton has these on their website anymore, but you can find them everywhere. If you can't, if they ever go away completely, Pittsburgh and green is going to be available. That's what you get, right? Icon. What do we always do? We don't compare ourselves to the William Tool. We don't compare yourselves to Tekton or Capri or cut across the board to another import. They go after Snap-on. Now, what does Snap-on have in their Roto heads, right? You got 72 tooth. Apparently, the 1/2 inch have gone away. 72 tooth, dual 80 in your quarter. 3/8 is Synergy now. You can probably still find some dual 80 ones. That was actually the first Synergy. It was just kind of 100 tooth for a long time. Anyway, the thing about Icon that really does bother me, I don't like the red. Like, number one, I don't like that shade of red. You know, it's nothing against red. That's not terrible. That handle doesn't appeal to me. I would like that handle if it was blue, if it was orange, if it was green, maybe even purple. And you think like, oh, you're being ridiculous, man. They'd never sell that stuff. They don't have to, okay? They can make it special order. They can make it, you know, in-store pickup type of a thing. They can make it, you've got to buy this in-store or online. We're not going to stock 17 SKUs of every ratchet. I totally get it. I get the logistics and the headaches it could be. But I also understand if you want to compare this to Snap-on, you're not offering the colors. And I don't just say that as like personal preference. Some of you would love red, some of you would like, I'd buy all the Icon Rotos if they were green. There's people like that. I think of this, what if I love this? What if this turns out to be great and this was a lemon, or 3/8 is just shoddy and 1/4 and 1/2 are fantastic? If I want to buy some of these for work, if you're going to stockpile your business, or, you know, get them to your techs or your workers or different stations, I like to color code things. It sounds stupid until you're in management or you're a foreman or something, but like if this 1/4 drive Roto is always to be at station A, and you go to station A and it's not there, it is never-endingly frustrating. If you go to station B, which is also supposed to have one of these, and there's only one, you can assume that it's the station B quarter drive roto. If you go to station C and there's two of them, you think, hey, is this from station A? You then look at station D and there's one there and you're like, yep, this was the station A. It's much easier if I can glance down the line or walk to a different section of the shop and see a green handle or see a blue handle or see a high-vis handle. And you think, well, you can't expect Harbor Freight to do that, man. You're being ridiculous. I can, and here's why. They've done it, and it works beautifully with other brands. U.S. General. You think, oh, who's going to color code? There's a lot of people that are going to color code carts. You might even do it in your shop, right? You might have a detail cart that's green or blue. You might have your hand tools. You might even divide SAE and metric between red and blue. Same thing in your place of work. You might have a red card at assembly. You might have a green card at teardown. It might be vice versa. It could be you assign each employee, or lathe 1 gets blue, lathe 2 gets green. These things have to be done in places of work to function, right? You have to check this stuff. You have to keep it in line. If not, you lose so much time. It's absurd. Every once in a while, you get a Goldilocks unicorn of an employee that's responsible, takes care of things. That is not often, right? There's a reason that people have to buy their own tools in many occupations, and a lot of it has to do, maybe not with you, maybe not with your coworkers, but somewhere there's a guy that just doesn't care. If it's not his, he doesn't care. Now, I'll let that slide if he buys his own stuff and also treats it terribly and abuses it and breaks it and never cleans it and never keeps it organized. That's a personal issue for that individual. But it's amazing. If I provide you this icon, you're going to do things with it that you wouldn't do if you bought it. I'm not saying Snap-on, I'm saying anything. I could give you this Tekton. You're going to do things. You're going to hammer with it, right? You're going to abuse the snot out of that because you didn't buy it. You're not responsible for it. You're not the one that has to be accountable or replace it. I can tell you right now, if that describes you, change. Do it immediately. I don't care if you hate your foreman, if you hate your bosses, if you hate this job, you're just there until something else better comes along. Everyone notices that. Whether it's coworkers that are nice and don't say anything, whether it's coworkers or an old cranky guy that's like, you got to treat your stuff better, or hey man, you're never going to get a raise if you do that, or if it's foreman's riding on you, just change. You know, like put forth a little effort, wipe things down, get it covered in anti-seize, leave it there, you know, when you go to break or lunch. But by the end of the day, have the decency to just do a wipe. Doesn't have to be a thorough job, just to where if somebody picks it up to put it where it goes, they don't get covered in anti-seize, right? That's that type of a thing. And that is where, if I could have station A with red, station B with green, station C with blue, and station D with high vis, it makes things so much easier. The roll cart's a great example. The jacks and jack stands, I kind of think that one might apply there, but it also might just be a personal preference. These aren't a huge volume seller. Let's see if we can sell some green, blue, and orange jacks instead of the black that we typically have. But where this is really, really smart is with the earthquake line. This is a situation, if I go out and I spend top dollar, Ingersoll Rand, Aircat, trying to keep the decibels down. I could go out and we used to do Chicago pneumatic when it was American made. People abuse them. They abuse them just the same if it's an earthquake from Harbor Freight. But with that earthquake from Harbor Freight and the litany of colors they have, I can put the red one here and the green one across the shop, and if I ever see that the red one's missing, it's easier for me to find it, and I know it migrated. If they were just earthquakes and they were all red, did this one come over here? Did that one go over there? Who did it? Can I deduce who was the last person to be here? Who do I need to rip into? Which you don't really do that. You're like, hey, you know, we try to keep these over here. And, a great example is like a socket, okay? If you're sitting there and you've got a workstation and it's got socketry at it, and you've got your boss and a customer comes in and the boss asks you to tear this down to show the customer how the bearing failed, and you turn around, you can grab your 9/16 socket and you can take that end cap off and you can pull it out and be like, whoa, hey, that thing totally grenaded. The customer's like, my gosh, what happened? And it's like, well, it appears to be no grease. That would be my theory. Take that to station B, right, where Larry was last there. And you come in, your boss grabs you because you're like the ace tech, or you can depend on you, or you're, presentable or cordial with customers. And it's like, hey, I'm going to have Steve tear this down for you. And you're at Larry's station where he was last at, and guess what? You cannot find a 9/16 socket. You look like an idiot. Your boss looks like an idiot. The customer thinks you're both idiots. You take that apart and you try to describe the failure, he's going to be like, I don't believe these people, they can't even keep tabs on a socket. It's a chain effect, and it drives me absolutely nuts as someone that's relatively organized myself, and then just keeping something functioning day to day. It's almost as if people are so irresponsible, you have to pay someone else or put someone in a position higher just to basically babysit some. I don't know how you get everyone on the same page with this stuff, but it is a big deal. If you're young in your career, you might not notice it yet. It might not describe you. You might notice it with other coworkers and be like, I don't know how that guy functions like that. Some people can do it, and they can do it beautifully. Everything is a train wreck. He can go to the cookie dough jar in the bottom drawer and pull out the three-quarter drive socket that you needed. I don't know how they do it. Some people can, most can't. But you notice these things, and as you get older, maybe as you get promoted and advance, you're going to notice this stuff. And when you've got that employee, the rookie techs that come in, and you got 3 of them, one guy doesn't know much and he's not very organized. The other guy knows a lot, but he's kind of got an attitude and he doesn't take care of things. Then you got the third guy, knows a little bit, quick learner, but he's organized and takes care of things. I'm instantly going to candidate C here, right? That's going to become the person that I want to mentor the closest, bring up in the ranks. That's someone that can make my life easier by simply doing a good job with what it is that they're supposed to do. And again, all that ties in here because we're constantly comparing this to Snap-on. If this is a fantastic ratchet and I want to stock them at work, I wish I could have them color coordinated. You might be a green person. You wish that this was a green handle. And here's the thing. Again, I don't expect them to stock this. It could be trial. It could be online order only. It could be talk to the manager and order in store. We'll call you when it comes in. Whatever, you want to do modern technology wise. But they could also come in and Harbor Freight could just make handles. They could make green, they could make blue, they could start with green, they could then like, hey, that's actually sold, let's do orange. Oh, hey, people bought that too. How many colors can we go? Like, it also makes sense to tie it in with your earthquake and your U.S. general colors, right? If you're selling yellow and purple toolboxes and like destroyer gray boxes to people, maybe those same people that picked yellow and purple would buy a yellow and purple handle. If you made this, which I believe they could, and they could even do it in store, wouldn't take much, like train a manager or an employer to rip the handle off, like have a little vise and a fixture and press it out, and then install it for the customer. Send people home, have a little instruction sheet on the back of the pack, like heat it up, it's going to be a pain, but try it. Anything would be so much appreciated. Rant aside, we're going to get going here. Quarter drive swivel, lifetime warranty, again the 64694, that would be what gets you going. They don't have their funky little item number on here that I see, so we won't worry about it. One of the things I do love about Icon, this is the actual size, so it's going to tell you this is 6 5/8 long. If you got a quarter rotor and you're like, man, that thing's too short, I don't get leverage with it, and it's 4.5 inches, you're gonna be like, hey, this might work for me. It's like 6/625, sweet. If you've got something that's too wide, this is gonna tell you it's 1.25 inches yoke to yoke, right? Super cool. Again, same thing over here with the actual dimensions, 7/16 head thickness. Great information. There is the item number, the R1SW. Again, that's gonna pull it up, but you're gonna want to use that like 5-digit number right there. So these are designed in the USA, manufactured in Taiwan. They're kind of a different manufacturer. Again, William Tools got the quick release. The Mac and Carlisle 100 tooth have the quick release. These 90 teeth do not have a quick release. That may be a selling point for some of you or a takeaway for others. What do they advertise? They say 90 tooth gear to gear mechanism produces a tight 4-degree arc swing for easy work in confined spaces. Precision machine gears provide smooth ratcheting action and withstand heavy torque. Polished chrome finish offers superior corrosion resistance and easily wipes clean. Did you see that, Larry? Easily wipes clean. Yeah. Daily. Don't let it build up 2 months and then complain it's difficult. Just daily. Weekly even. Little steps to achieving nirvana, right? Swivel head design allows access to the most difficult fasteners. You also get to spin it like a screwdriver, which is sweet. Comfort grip design reduces hand fatigue and provides a non-slip grip. I have not opened this. Truly have not. You can tell here. Why did I not open it? I want to have a live reaction with you. I want to see like, oh, hey, this is good, or man, this is worse than my 3/8, or this is exactly like my 3/8. And then I have to come back and question those of you that said this was the greatest roto ever. When did you buy it? Is this like a different supplier? Is it sat too long? You know, did they tweak something in it? Something has changed, and it has not been for the better. So I've actually got this thing cut out now. I've just got to try to get it. I don't want to tear the cardboard in the event that I decide to keep it in the cardboard tray. I'm not talking about the exterior packaging, I'm talking about the next layer. 1 second. I have never had an icon ratchet that difficult to open. Granted, we've had 3, but the others have just kind of slid out, if I remember correctly now. Anytime you buy an icon ratchet, you get a microfiber cleaning cloth. Imagine that. You can clean your ratchet with it. So, it is taped. That is a nice touch. Again, a little extra. The biggest downside to Icon's packaging, as much as I love all this information that they pack in there, especially the dimensions, the actual size, image representations, golden stuff there, the big downside, I can't play with that. If this is the Pittsburgh hanging on the peg, I can sit there, and if this is egregious, like, ugh, you know, this thing, it's like junk, how did this get on the shelf? I go to the second one and I'm like, much better. And then I try the third and the fourth and I'm like, okay, hey, the ratchet number 3 was the best for me. And I grab it. You have nothing. If I could have tried this 3/8 one, I would not have bought it. Like, it's that bad. I would have fished around. If they were all like that, I wouldn't have picked it up. As is, you get the premium packaging, but it comes at that expense, in my opinion. Just not being able to physically handle it and play with the tools. So the upside here to Icon, I've only got one other Icon ratchet, and it's this one right here. Quarter drive flex. This one is nice. This one's actually like, wow, hey, you know, it's not my favorite ratchet in the world, but this is respectable, right? 90 tooth, really nice. I mean, I've used this one a bit, quite a bit compared to that, because again, this is actually enjoyable to use, and that one frustrates me. Where are we at with this one? We're about to find out. So, really good length here. Again, this is quarter drive, so first thing first, how does it compare to the Tekton? A little bit longer. I will say this looks like a darker red than these two. I don't know if that's just because they've been handled or something. Kind of like that better than that. Still wouldn't be my first choice. But head thickness, if we want to go that route, I'm going to say that's almost exactly the same, but the Tekton here might be a smidge thinner. Now, Tekton quick release, no quick release here. There's our drive end. Are you ready? This isn't great, but it's significantly better than the 3/8, and that alone is a small victory that I'm willing to take. So we're going to switch direction. Again, the kick up here, like ratchet, ratchet, ratchet. Now we're going to go back and work. What you want to pay attention to is when I first go up, that's the play that we've got between going away and starting to tighten again, or starting to loosen. Again, we'll switch direction here, one-handed. Even though it's quarter drive, but still easy to do. I don't really have an issue with this one. This one was a major disappointment, especially as my first Icon ratchet. I mean, you can just tell listening to it, and then like the way it jumped. Hopefully you caught that. We'll cycle over. It's just something's up with that one. I don't know if we could adjust like a heart spring and maybe get a little bit better. This is good. This is actually decent. So think it's going to be like the greatest roto of all time, but I think this is a decent roto ratchet. I will tell you, and this one has been used, so it's a little misleading, I do still think that this El Cheapo is a little bit smoother. That's nothing against Icon. I thought that the El Cheapo was a little smoother than the Mac. So, like I said, the good news here, going from this to this, especially with a sale price, it's not a huge loss. Now, going from this to a Carlisle or this to the Mac, that's a significant jump. And while there's things you could take that you like better, the savings realistically from getting something that's not much worse of a performer is hard to swallow. Right here with this one, like I said, we came in like sub 25 bucks for this. We could probably catch this all day. Like, what are they, 15 bucks? Maybe with a sale we could get it for around 10, 12. The longer length might be a thing. Again, these do have a hanging hole if you care about that, whereas the Icon doesn't. Again, significantly longer there, especially for quarter drive. Again, think of leverage right there. I'm not going to mic them. If you want to see me do that, we can. Almost the same. That's really negligible. I'm going to go ahead and say the crown of the push release would make the overall anvil to, back of the selector switch a little taller. These are tough to beat for the money. This Icon Roto, I don't really have a problem with it. The 3/8 one was extremely disappointing. This one sort of redeems it, and that puts the 1/2 inch in play. This is something I have considered actually taking to work. So we shall see. It's not something I would use frequently, but it's something that would be nice to have, because again, with the Roto, I can come in and I can just spin something down, and then when I need to final tighten, that's when we go and make it happen. If you need to break it free, and once you've kind of got past your gummed up threads, you just run this sucker out. It's like a screwdriver, nut driver, coupled with a ratchet. Some people like them, some people don't. I personally love Rotos. I'm on the record of saying that long ago. Since this one's nice and functional, I don't really know that the 30, I want to say again, I don't have my phone. I think it's like 29, 34, 39 for quarter, 3/8 and 1/2 respectively. I don't really think that price is egregious. That said, you're going to want to ask yourself, like, hey, would I want the Icon for whatever reason? Maybe the case, maybe the cleaning cloth sells you. I don't know why it would, but it might. This is quite bulky, but again, I mean, if you line these up side by side, it would make an attractive appearance in a box. I'll give it that. Some people will hate it, some people will love it. It just depends what you think personally. Don't be swayed by someone else. This is so much better than that 3/8 one, and again, 2 jobs maybe with that. It's not good. That's why, like, the KTC is good, and it gets used a lot because it's enjoyable. It's fantastic. This is the mid-size KTC, and the Icon gonna clock in just a shoulder below the KTC. So for a quarter drive, I think this is a good length, and why not just buy a quarter drive KTC or Koken? Something that you've seen me bring in and I love. Why not get a German one? They don't make them. When KTC has 3/8, Koken has 3/8. Neither of the companies offers a quarter drive or 1/2 inch drive, and in the German companies, the only offering that we get is from Vera. There's no Gador, there's no Stavilla, there's no Hazette. It's just something, it's like SK came around and was like, this is cool, and created it. I guess it was more of an American thing. Personally, I love them. The things I can do, the way I can speed through stuff. Again, it's like a breaker bar. I can jump huge brackets, right, and still spin around, and then when it gets tight, I can start ratcheting. You can spin it up and run something in or out. It's the best of both worlds. It's like flex head meets breaker bar plus nut driver. It's right up my alley. I personally don't know how people don't like these, but to each their own. I am a fan. And thankfully, this one is solid out of the box. Now, how well will it be in real world circumstances? Will it grenade itself? Will I break it in 2 weeks? Will it last me like 30 years and then my nephew breaks it? I don't know. But it does seem infinitely better than this 3/8. Form factor on the 3/8 is great. It's just the ratchet action sucks. And I mean, listen to that. The biggest, most egregious thing is this thing will kind of jump ahead. This one is about like the quarter flex head icon. It just is significantly smoother. There's a bit more slop than I'd like to see. But again, we picked this up for a steal. It's a great price to begin with, and then when you factor in what you're getting it for with a 25%. I will still say that this ratchet set here and the icon, this is my only like regular icon ratchet. I don't have fixed heads, I don't have flex head and anything else, in part because I've been super optimistic that they will come out with a handle. Whether that would be something you got to rip this off and plug the new one on, or if it's just like literally in store, different colors. I might have to give up on that pipe dream. Yes, I wanted to see it for a really long time and it just hasn't happened. But that's all I've got, and this one actually really good. The Quins, the new Quins that we've showcased, those are really solid, especially for being a tier under this. This is a good ratchet. This seems decent, I will say that. This one, I don't like it at all, and it sucks, and I don't know, maybe I did get a lemon. Again, if it hung on the pegs like the 3/8 iteration of this from Pittsburgh would, I would have been like, no, that one's terrible, and I would have fished around, and I either find something better, or they're all like that, and I'm like, okay, scrap it. Half-inch drive, we'd be taking a crapshoot. We've got a dud, we've got a solid contender. Where does half-inch stand? I don't know, and I can't preview them without bringing them home and breaking them open, right? Or doing it in the parking lot type of a thing. So if you have a half-inch drive icon roto, what do you think of it? If you have quarter or 3/8, how does it compare? Again, several of you said your 3/8 was junk, but there were a ton of you that said this ratchet, this very icon quarter drive roto, had actually become your favorite go-to quarter drive roto. So luckily, y'all didn't disappoint me. Again, maybe this one truly is a dud. Maybe all the 3/8 are terrible, I don't know. But this one does seem significantly better out of the box. I will start using this. I need to use that one more. I just don't, because I don't enjoy using it. So that's what we've got. I might have time to get some sockets here. The battery light's been flashing a long time at this point. Gonna go ahead and do the conclusion here. Thank you so much for watching. Your thoughts and opinions always appreciated, again, especially if you have all three icon rotos and you can say the quarter is excellent, 3/8 and half suck. Hey, my half was good, the 3/8 was similar to yours, quarter was elite. Quarter and half are good, 3/8 and half are bad. The quarter is the all-star of the trio. Past that, what had you used previously? Were you rolling a snap-on roto? It got stolen, it got lost, it grenaded, and your driver wasn't there with the rebuild kit, so you grabbed this in a pinch, and it's been a surprisingly decent addition. If you're comparing it to Tekton, if you're comparing it to Pittsburgh, if you had some brand that's no longer functioning, or junk from the jungle, whatever it might be, whatever your story is, feel free to share it. Again, the end goal is simply to help people out. Can't stress that enough. LoneStarMopars.com is the website. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, all three at Lone Star Mopars. Again, your thoughts and opinions always appreciated. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, leave a comment. If you haven't subscribed, I encourage you to do so. I've got some really cool videos that I wish I could upload, but I put them behind a 10,000 subscriber like milestone wall or something, which was probably stupid, but we're close. Just growing very slowly for a guy that's been doing this quite regularly for almost 15 years on this channel. So yeah, we're not one of these new channels from 3 years ago or something. We're old school, and you can go back and check for yourself. But with that said, if you do subscribe, you ring the bell, you jump your Charger across the creek, you go hauling to Harbor Freight, and you open up every 3/8 icon rotohead with a manager, and you find that it's 50-50 between a dud and a good one, or you find that they were all terrible, or they're all great. YouTube just might notify you we got new videos every Wednesday and Saturday, 9 a.m. Texas time. With that said, thanks so much for watching. Most importantly, hope I catch you back here for more from the shop. Alright, so as long as the battery life keeps us in its good graces, we need to do one more thing. This is your bonus content. Koken 10mm. Quarter drive, 6 point. When you come in now, we're going to go deep with a 9/16. Maybe your 3/8 is a little too bulky, you had to drop it down. We can come in, we can run the fastener in, we can stop, we can switch direction, we can go to town, right? So fitment here, I'm going to say, is actually surprisingly good. Let's actually real quick if we have time. If this dies, I apologize. Way better, surprisingly. Socket retention from this little guy within the Tekton. I think you could tell just like listening to that audibly. Yeah, that's a nice thing to know. Again, little things you can pick out between these two. I guess while we're still here, if you could go into the store, and these are at their standard retail price, and you've got to have one. Let's flip this guy back around. Which one are you going to buy? Are you going to go with the Pittsburgh, or are you going to go with the Icon? Let me know your answer and why. With that said, thanks for watching. I hope I catch you back here for more from the shop.